It's one of the strangest cars ever made, standing at just over 6 feet tall, shamelessly inspired by the Citroen 2VC fourgonette. This weird froggy-faced van was only in production for 2 years, between 1989 and 1991. Just over 10,000 of them sold in Japan only. It wasn't even sold as a Nissan originally, it was just this S-Cargo that you could only buy through the Nissan Cherry store. It was designed by a man with a box of crayons called Jim Shimizu. Nissan weren't afraid to look at an existing car and think, yeah, we like that, let's copy it. And there are many a reference to the tin snail with some of its features, and even the fact that it's got a little snail down the side. It doesn't look like the work of a professional car designer. Doesn't that just make it really interesting and unique though? That Jim did a bit of scribbling, thought, he probably scribbled away and giggled himself to sleep that night and thought, we're actually going to make this thing. We're not going to say no to it, we're just going to make it. I don't suppose anybody would look at this and not think it's somewhat of a cartoon. The way it slopes forward, it's almost like it's caught in action with its brakes on really hard. Or the thing that happens in a cartoon where you're going to go that way, you have to first set off that way, in the same way that you're going to turn this corner, you have to turn that corner first. Wile E. Coyote, that poor skinny dog, always finding itself falling off a cliff, and it wouldn't drop straight away, it was just there, suspended, and it'd go, poor thing. The S-Cargo is a meeting point between the obscure and the practical. There's something quite surreal in the whole package. It's the kind of car you'd see driving down the road and have to take a second look at it and then wondered whether you really did see it or not in the first place. With its curvy bonnet and froggy eyes, it's almost reminiscent of a 1980s rally car. And these A-pillar trims that make it look a bit like it's been inspired by a tennis racket. The door handle looks like it may have come from a Renault Master van. The rear end is a caricature of a small hearse. It's reminiscent of the Allegro estate. Rear lamps look like goalkeepers' gloves. I can smell petrol. You have to admire Nissan for their bravery in creating such a car. The absolute lack of compromise in this design. Anyone who looks at this and doesn't smile really is one miserable It's based on the Micra K11, and with a 1.4 engine, you'd expect this to be quite a nippy little thing, because after all, it does weigh less than a ton. But it's only got 78 brake horsepower and a 3-speed automatic box. This piece of glass is separated because it's way too big to fit in the door. And this almost rainbow-like sheet of glass adds to the joy. You wouldn't think it would do, but it sort of does. This interior is exceedingly basic. The seat looks like a teacher's chair. Lots of exposed metal on the door and an eagle beak door pull. There's the handbrake, there's the automatic transmission lever. What a cool place for it to be. What's in there? Oh gosh, he's left loads of money in there. There's enough headroom for me to extend my arm out almost completely, which doesn't seem necessary, but it means you can wear a top hat if you'd like. Or even an extended comedy top hat, the kind of thing that you might buy in a joke shop for some reason. French inspired yet again, with a single spoke steering wheel and a comedy horn. And this lovely little instrument binnacle looks a bit like an old clock on a mantelpiece. What have we got on here? The usual things. Cheese on toast, fog lamp, hot pot nearly ready. Don't panic. It's in kilometres, of course, so calculations are needed when you drive it to make sure you don't exceed the speed limit. What are the chances of exceeding the speed limit in such a car? Very little, because I already know that this will do 0 to 60 in about 17 seconds. If this van can exceed the motorway speed limit, I would imagine it to be a very frightening and noisy experience. The interior is kept deliberately plain. The interior is kept deliberately plain and only available with the 3-speed automatic gearbox and a single choice of engine. Those wheels aren't standard. It did come with two options though. One of them, a circular window in the side there that made it look like some sort of comedy canal boat, and a vinyl sunshine roof, which is operated with electricity. This shelf looks like it should have some rubber mats on there, but in actual fact, it came originally with these sushi trays. This car hasn't got them, they've gone missing, and apparently they're quite sought after, and with that, difficult to find. You're probably assuming this is a two-seater van. Well, just behind there are two more seats. It's more of a job centre waiting area, and where do you put your legs? I mean, even for the smallest of people, if somebody's going to be driving this, where do you put them? Let's have a go anyway. It's as far forward as that seat will go. Oh, no. I really wouldn't want to be a passenger in the back of this. Even the smallest of individual would be struggling in the back of there. Then someone's got to drive it. I suppose once you release the handbrake, no, it's just no. Those seats shouldn't be there. You can't drive a car in that position. Let's go into the boot. Let's unlock the boot. Let's forget about going into the boot. If I could get into the boot by the traditional method, I would be able to show how big it actually is. But this way, we can clearly see that the boot is actually rather commodious. Not only is it very tall, but it fills up all of the space that the van provides. It also looks like it might have had a parcel shelf in here at one point as well. There's somewhere to hang your coat, and besides a little bit of sound deadening material, there's not much to stop all of this vehicle's rattles from coming through into your ears. This is wonderful. I can't wait to drive it. Although there are only just over 10,000 of these made, there are still quite a few about because of the practicality, used mainly for advertising businesses, etc., much like you would do with a three-wheeled Ape thingy. Considered right from the start as some sort of future classic. They wouldn't have just got scrapped because a wheel bearing had gone or an alternator had given up the ghost. So even though this is a small number import-only vehicle, I still managed to find two of them for sale in the UK for about £5,000. And do my best not to smile. It's impossible. It's the smiliest, happiest vehicle possibly ever, without some daft paint job, although the original paint wasn't actually yellow. Does suit yellow though. It's S-Cargo, that's S-Cargo, not escargot. Not snails cooked in garlic, just small cargo. It's a rattly old trumpet for sure. There's lots and lots of clattery sounds going on, not from the suspension, but just from the interior and the way it's all fixed together. Trying to avoid any bumpy bits, as I would do with any car, but with this one it seems more important than usual. The 3-speed automatic gearbox is quite smooth. It does... Oh, it's a right lollopy thing. And if I give it a little bit of a wobble like that, it feels like it's really top end heavy. But more really concentrates on avoiding all these bumps in the road everywhere, because it really doesn't like it. Or maybe it doesn't dislike it any more than any other vehicle, but you can just hear the impact of the shitty road surface on this vehicle much more than you can with something else. We're taking it up this way today because every other road's all clogged up and completely useless. This particular road that comes out of Neway up towards Ogden is a good test of a car's road handling capabilities, because it's very windy and it's a 60 limit. Although this does lean an awful lot, it makes me wonder whether it's going to grip in the same way that the car that this was inspired by, the 2VC, which had such a strange chassis that it would look like it was about to fall over, but wasn't. I must say, this is pretty smooth and effortless for 60 miles per hour, except that it isn't 60 miles per hour, it's 60 kilometers, which makes that 44. Although a bit less because the tyres are smaller than what they should be. It's probably about 30. As this isn't a fuel injection but a simple carburettor with a single head, there is a bit of a whiff of petrol about it. The brakes are adequate and the steering is also adequate to... Not sure whether the dampers need a bit of replacing, because it did sort of bounce around a little bit there. I'd like to use a different word than adequate for the steering, but what's the point? That is the correct word, and I need not to hunt for anything else. Slow right down for these speed humps. Doesn't like speed humps. What does like speed humps though? Ambulances and criminals. They don't seem to mind them too much. Even at low speeds, it sounds almost like I'm driving an Avery. I say the steering is adequate. Once you get a bit of speed on the go, it becomes a little bit vague. Oh, bumps. Oh, bumps everywhere. I'm not going quickly. Why did it have to kangaroo so much like that? It's a much more interesting car to look at than it is to drive. To drive, it's just a small van. A small, very much uncultured van, in fact. What a lovely place to stop. What a lovely little car park. What a lovely little path. And you've even got a couch there to enjoy the view. You know what this van doesn't have? A nice door shut sound. Is that a problem? No, it's not. Because what's important is the happy spirit of this small, strange van. The fact that it's so easy to drive. The mirrors give you lots of visibility. You can see out the front, you can see out the back so well. Obviously you've got a bit of a blind side there, but that's what you get with a van. It's just so likeable. It's a bit like Ronnie Corbett. I've never been in a vehicle that turns heads as much as this. And what do those faces do? They smile. They don't look in disgust. They don't try and turn away as quickly as possible to avoid getting eye problems. They just smile. Oh, when you turn the ignition off, you have to press this button to release the key. And it starts on a flick. I would swap something very special for this vehicle because it's just so quirky. It's just so odd. It's cool because of it. I would drive everywhere with that roof open and I would just have a better life for it. If these companies that keep on sending me emails asking me to advertise stuff that I don't really have any interest in got wind of this, they'd be asking me to put a big banner down the side of it for Monster Energy or something. Do I even need some sort of conclusion, an end to this video? They kind of think, no, not really. it's just fine as it is. Driving it back nice and slowly, one, because of the bumps really upset its stability somewhat, and the other is that I don't want to take it back. Due to its incredibly bold features, it's not exactly pretty, but it goes beyond that. It goes beyond being... It's so daft and it's so strange looking that it becomes really cute. A bit like a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. It does eventually pick up though. It's not like you're stuck at about 40 miles per hour and it really won't go any faster than that. It's just not fast. Why would you want it to be fast? No idea. No doubt somebody's had the idea of putting something like a Hayabusa engine in one of these. Why do people do that? Why do they think, you know, an engine from a powerful motorbike would be the best thing to make a car fast? Obviously a small lightweight car, but this is still 931 kilos as it is. That's enough.